Formula One, the pinnacle of motorsport. With a global audience and drama to match, all the attention is now on race circuits around the world, waiting for the start of the fastest show on Earth. Last year's regulation changes saw closer on-track battles. Anyone expecting a smooth ride from the 2023 season is in for a shock. With a shake-up in the paddock resulting in the signing of several new team principals, F1 is primed and ready to light up the world stage. Team principals will already be talking tactics, boosting the confidence of their drivers and ensuring their pit crews make those box times as tight as possible. With a new era of racing now well underway, more teams than ever will be vying for points, podiums, and a chance at the championship. This is Formula One. Red Bull took the F1 world by storm in 2022, defending their Drivers' Championship title and bringing home the Constructors' Championship for the first time since 2013. The new season will see the continuation of Dream Team, Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. They're flying high on the back of their success, but they can't afford to rest on their laurels if they want to dominate 2023 in the way they did last year. On paper, Ferrari had a stellar season in 2022, taking home second place in both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships. But some high-profile errors marred their year, and second place felt like a poor consolation prize to what really could have been. Returning in 2023 with drivers Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz and a new team principal at the helm, they need to fix those past mistakes to be in with a chance of claiming that top spot. 2022 was a tough year for Mercedes. Taking home third in the Constructors' Championship, they broke their 8-year winning streak, and although they eventually made up for an early slow start, it was too little, too late. The team returned this season once again with the all-British driver pairing of Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, and they'll be aiming to claim back the crown. They've done it before, and they know exactly what it's going to take to do it again. In Alpine's debut 2021 season, they finished 5th in the championship, and in their 2022 run, they claimed 4th. But will the loss of veteran driver Fernando Alonso stall their entry into the top 3 this season? Or will Esteban Ocon, alongside fellow countryman Pierre Gasly, a new transfer to the team, be the fuel they need to break through? Only time and racing excellence will tell. A frustrating finish last season for McLaren, who ended 5th in the Constructors' Championship, down a place from the year before. They return for 2023 with Lando Norris, the only driver outside the top 3 teams to earn a podium in 2022, and the highly sought-after rookie, Oscar Piastri. With this ambitious lineup behind the wheel, McLaren are set to fight their way back up the grid this season. Alfa Romeo showed off their fighting spirit in 2022, battling their way to 6th in the Constructors' Championship, with an all-new driver pairing of Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu. The pair have proven they've got what it takes, and in 2023, they'll be returning to the track and looking to push their way back up the grid. The Hinwil team begin the new season expecting to face tough competition from those battling it out in a very tight midfield. Aston Martin ended the 2022 season in 7th place, although 6th was almost within their grasp. Alongside significant investment and state-of-the-art facilities, this year could be their chance to shine. They've traded one multiple championship-winning driver for another by signing Fernando Alonso after Sebastian Vettel's retirement. And with Lance Stroll rounding out their lineup, Aston Martin are primed to push their way up the standings. Haas finished last season 8th in the Constructors' Championship, an improvement over past years, but still far from desired. With Nico Hülkenberg returning to F1 to join the team, as well as Kevin Magnussen continuing in his seat, Haas have opted for a more experienced driver pairing on the grid in 2023. With the team's trademark perseverance, they'll be eager to convert that experience and passion into valuable points. It was a disappointing end to the 2022 season for AlphaTauri, leaving them in 9th, their lowest finish since taking on the new name. but they can't afford to dwell on disaster if they're going to battle their way back up the standings. Now with the signing of Nick de Vries alongside returning driver Yuki Tsunoda, it's time for AlphaTauri to shake off last year's troubles and prove they've got what it takes. 10th in the Constructors' Championship is not where Williams would have chosen to end 2022, but that won't stop them fighting. Debutant Logan Sargent joins for the new season after a stellar F2 performance, driving alongside his more experienced teammate Alex Albon. With the right leadership, the team is set to come out swinging in 2023.
You must be our new team principal. It's so great to meet you. I'm Audrey, one of the team engineers. I'm happy to show you around. Everyone here at McLaren is very excited to have you on board. We didn't perform too badly last season, but we also know we've got the potential to do even better this year. There's no time like the present, so let's get started. In this area, you have a centralized view of what a team principal needs to keep track of. The board sets season objectives for the team to achieve. Reaching them will help keep confidence high, so be sure to familiarise yourself with what's expected. You'll want to keep an eye on the long-term objective for beyond this season as well. You'll always be able to see what the team's next race is from here, and how long you have left to prepare. Our next Grand Prix will be the first of the season. As it's your first day though, there's nothing urgent for you to address. Feel free to explore more, or you can select continue and sign off for the day. Once you do, time will pass, but don't worry about missing anything. You'll automatically sign back in if an important event comes up. The board are the ones who set the expectations for the team. If they're confident in your leadership, you'll be fine. If they lose confidence in you, however, they might look to replace you. Don't forget to check in with the board often, and take note of their confidence levels, as well as the team's progress towards a greater rating. From here, you can see all the team's facilities, from the staff buildings to the car parts warehouse. You can build new facilities, or, if the team has the time and money, upgrade our existing ones. Facilities affect all areas of our team's performance. Over time, facilities will degrade and become less effective, so keep an eye on their condition. When this happens, we'll need to look at refurbishing or even upgrading that facility to get back to maximum efficiency. It's not just the fastest car that makes a team the best in F1. It's the people doing the hard work behind the scenes. Manage your staff from here, from department heads to your pit crew, and keep up to date on their performance. Check here to see what your sporting director has planned for the pit crew. You can also come up with a detailed development plan of your own for them. After all, the pit crew are the ones who can save valuable seconds for our drivers. Let's introduce you to the team drivers. They're under contract with us for the season, and their professional development and race performance will make or break us as a team. Improving our cars is a constant process if we want to stay competitive against our rivals. New car parts are initially designed in-house by the team. They can then be manufactured and installed on either car. Each car part we design will impact different areas of a car's performance, but certain parts will have a greater impact than others. Focus on parts that improve weaknesses or will be good for upcoming races. Testing is also an important step in designing a new car part. Testing can be done through use of our wind tunnel or by using computational fluid dynamics, CFD as we call it. Your head of aerodynamics will email you a reminder when testing periods change. You can direct the engineering team to focus on specific areas of performance. F1 car parts are complex, and sometimes you'll have to sacrifice performance in one area to achieve gains in another. Aerodynamic car parts each weigh extra, and together will add weight to the car build. This will contribute to a reduction in certain areas of a car's performance. Designing aero parts with higher durability will increase condition life of a part, but any durability improvements will come with the payoff of extra weight. Lighter car parts will last for fewer races, making them more expensive on average. For each design project, you also need to decide how many engineers you want working on it and what engineering approach they should take. Bear in mind these decisions will have an impact on the duration and the cost of each project. Here's your inbox. Watch out for any email alerts. They appear when you've got an important email awaiting a response. Income from sponsorships is vital for a team, and there are different ways we can increase our revenue through sponsorship. Outside of a race weekend, we will gain ongoing passive income through scheduled sponsorship events over the season. Just bear in mind that these sponsorship obligations will interrupt day-to-day management of the team in some way. For example, an event might mean the factory output is paused, temporarily increasing manufacturing times. Running an F1 team is expensive, and careful finance management is essential. You can see our current balance here. Most of the team's budget is decided by the board at the start of the season. There's also whatever income we get from last season's prize money and any extra sponsorship revenue we earn. Whenever you're making financial decisions, make sure you're considering our cost cap. It's a mandatory spending cap on team transactions, with certain exceptions. If we go over the cost cap, whether intentionally or by accident, the team will receive a fine. pit crew are a vital part of our team. Their reliability and speed can make a big difference to a race outcome. When they're back at HQ in between races, the pit crew can train to improve in different areas. The pit crew development plan will focus on a balanced training approach, but you can give them further instruction and focus on a specific area. The pit crew are always so busy training. You can access the team's training schedule through the calendar, and from there customize the current plan right down to a daily breakdown. Just bear in mind that as the pit crew's job, and therefore training, is very physical, they can become fatigued and as a result more prone to making mistakes. Remember, the constructor with the highest number of fastest pit stops will win the DHL Fastest Pit Stop Award at the end of the year. Once you're happy with the pit crew training schedule, make sure to confirm it. You can take a look at sponsorship performance targets here. Here we've got the performance targets for this coming weekend. If we meet these targets, we'll gain extra revenue. If we don't meet the target, it won't cost the team anything.
Welcome to Bahrain, ladies and gentlemen. F1 is back. As we start a brand new season, the slate is wiped clean, and all 20 drivers prepare to make an instant impact ahead of an exciting year. The Bahrain International Circuit is a challenging track, and the cars routinely have to brake from high gear to low to take the narrow turns. With the need for downhill braking, the risk of locking up is one drivers will need to manage. It's all about focus and balance to get victory here. There's now a rookie on the McLaren team, which is both an opportunity and a challenge. Stay with us then as the weekend gets underway.
Welcome to your first race weekend with the team. A normal race weekend starts with 3 practice sessions, a knockout qualifying session, and then the race itself. Later in the season, we'll encounter some different formats, such as a sprint weekend. Once you're ready, we can move on. Over here is our race preparation area. This is where you can make any changes you need ahead of the upcoming practice session. The team will put together a run plan for the session. but you can review and make changes to it. Bear in mind that tyre usage during practice will impact what tyres will be available for qualifying and the race. Feel free to look at the run plan and the different options available. Then we can move on when you're ready. During race weekends, you can decide whether you want to manage the practice sessions yourself or whether to hand over control to your team. As it's your first race weekend, you should let the team handle the practice sessions. To help maximise our drivers' performance, the team and you on future weekends will have them work on 3 goals during practice: track acclimatisation, car parts knowledge and car setup. Having your drivers progress towards these 3 goals will improve their preparation level, which will then affect their confidence across the whole race weekend. Whenever you manage practice yourself, use the time to experiment with the balance of the car and make sure you give the drivers long enough on track to feed back on their car setup.
Welcome to qualifying. Let's find out if all that practice will pay off for the drivers.
Drivers need to get into Q3 if they want to make the top half of the grid. With only 10 slots available, it's a fight nobody wants to lose.
Now, there's been a bit of talk about Sergio Perez of late. How's he going to be feeling, do you think?
They set a great lap in practice, so you can only imagine how good they're feeling going into qualifying. But the big question is, will they be able to keep this performance up?
Well, it's almost here. Qualifying, coming up soon.
Right, time for qualifying. Our results here will determine where we start on the grid for Sunday's race. Qualifying takes place over 3 knockout rounds, and only the fastest drivers will advance each time. Same as practice, the team can handle qualifying for you if you like. Let's get you hands-on for this round though, just to make sure you're feeling confident before race day kicks off. Our drivers need to be setting their fastest possible lap times, so we can advance to the next period of qualifying. The slowest 5 cars will be sitting the rest of qualifying out. Right then. Let's get a car out on the track for its first run and see how it goes.
Sessions should be starting now. Oscar, radio check.
Yep, radio check.
Yeah, radio's all good. Warm the tyres where you can.
Copy.
I know everything happens so fast over a race weekend, but if you need to catch your breath, you can pause for as long as you like. Of course, if things aren't moving fast enough for you, You can speed things up instead. The map view here gives you a good overview of the whole track and all the cars. Each car is also fitted with a number of onboard cameras, so you can view the race from different vantage points. Remember, you're managing 2 drivers throughout the session, so make sure to keep an eye on both of them. You can even watch from the driver's visor cam, which will really get you up close and personal with all the race action. A driver's confidence level can be impacted throughout a race weekend, both negatively and positively by on-track events. You can keep an eye on each driver's confidence level here. A driver with higher confidence will have an increased performance and a lower risk of on-track incidents. A driver with lower confidence will see a decrease in performance and have a higher risk of on-track incidents happening.
Radio check.
Yeah, let's land again. You can bring the tyre in.
Yeah, confirm.
Drive straight out, track will be clear. You're good to open the lap. And track is now clear.
Great! That's our first flying lap in the bank. Keep an eye on the stand-ins throughout the session to make sure we stay out of the elimination zone. When your flying laps are finished, the driver will automatically return to the garage.
Just keep an eye on the delta. The delta needs to be negative at the end of the lap. Okay, look after the fuel on the way in.
Copy. Drive to the delta, and we are box this lap.
Okay, copy.
Our driver has returned to the garage. You need to reconfigure the car before we can send them back out. Let's go and take a look. Here you can see all the available tyre compounds for the weekend. You need to use at least 2 different compounds during a dry race.
Just drifting everywhere now.
A good job, that's a checkered flag.
We're through to Q2. Great work. In Q2, the fastest 15 cars from Q1 battle it out for only 10 places in Q3. Now let's push even harder for a place in Q3.
Track should be green. Drive to the delta.
And we box this lap, cool the car. Copper.
That's the checkered flag.
Welcome to race day. And before we get down to it, last-minute checks are being made.
Bahrain has seen some of the most dramatic races in F1, like Sergio Perez's incredible 2020 victory, surging ahead from being last on the opening lap.
How do you think Oscar Piastri is feeling as we get nearer to race time?
You know, it's not going well for them at the moment. They haven't been able to put everything together, and it's going to be a lot of work to get back to where they need to be.
And there's going to be a lot for the teams to handle. So will the drivers and their cars be able to deal with the pressure here in Bahrain?
A single set of tyres will wear down completely before the end of the race. So we're going to need to make at least one pit stop per driver to change tyres at some point. Don't forget, each pit stop taken will add time to that lap. So we need to think carefully about when to pit and why. You should consider setting a tyre strategy for each driver ahead of the race. We need to make sure we have a good plan for when we want the cars to pit. Every race weekend, the team will prepare some recommended strategies to choose from. Let's see what they suggest for this race. You can take a look over the different recommended strategies here. If you like the look of one of the team's suggestions, you can go ahead and select it now. If you think a different approach could work, you can make changes to any of the team strategies or even create one from scratch. We can always adapt our strategy during the race, so we can respond quickly to changing conditions and stay ahead of the pack. Once you're happy with one strategy, check in with the other driver to confirm theirs as well. You should consider picking a different strategy for each driver. This gives us a chance to take advantage of in-race events and means we won't have both cars pitted on the same lap.
Here in Sakir, the floodlights are on, and it's nearly time for 57 laps around the Bahrain International Circuit. Here's a determined Sainz lining up on the grid.
They're fourth on the grid, so I'd expect to see them mount a challenge for the top three in this race.
But remember, anything can happen in Formula One. And this is it, the Bahrain Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Controlling pace here will help you manage a car's tyre temperature and condition. Keep an eye on the tyre condition of both cars. Over time, tyre condition will fall, reducing their grip and performance, eventually leading to tyre failures and car retirement. Fuel commands instruct the driver on how to manage their car's fuel consumption. Make sure to keep an eye on the remaining fuel for each car. If a car runs out of fuel, it will be forced to retire. If a driver needs an additional performance boost for a short time, they can adjust their ERS mode and use any battery charge they have. There are several ERS commands. Some will focus on deploying energy for additional pace, and others on harvesting energy for later use. If a driver is entering a battle situation, where they might need the extra power for an overtake attempt, or to defend against one, then you can direct them to deploy energy as they see fit through Battle Assist.
We want to try and push up to Bottas.
Stay close.
Overtake available. Yeah, cool.
Can use overtake.
Yeah, confirm. Why didn't... Okay.
Let's get back in the rhythm now.
Okay, keep looking after the tyre. Yeah. DRS enabled, DRS.
And overtake is available.
Confirm.
Okay, user deploy.
Yep.
Don't forget that even if you have a strategy already set, you'll still need to let the driver know when to pit. You can keep track of individual tyre wear and condition here. Each tyre compound has an optimal temperature range during which the tyre performs its best. An overheating tyre will wear faster, whereas a tyre that is too cold will lack grip and therefore reduce the car's lap time. Oversee powertrain parts condition, risk of damage and rate of wear here. Aerodynamic parts can suffer damage of differing levels, and whereas some parts can be replaced during a weekend or even a race, major damage could force a car to retire. If you want to review or adjust your race strategy, you can use Strategy View to do so. For a deeper understanding of how the race is playing out, it pays to keep an eye on the data view. As the race progresses, remember to keep an eye on your planned strategy. Use the Strategy View to take a look at the plan and also check the graphs to see how a car's tyre wear is matching up to the team's expectations. As well as using the Strategy View to check on each driver's strategy, you can also edit, adjust, or even change a strategy entirely. The data view is an important area to track during the race. It gives you a deep dive into race data, including lap times for all of the team's drivers. Here, you can also view how the current session could affect the drivers' and constructors' championship standings. You can also check the latest lap and sector times for all drivers and see an overview of their tyre conditions.
Let's have a look at that. Right, so this was the fourth corner. The brakes couldn't cope. They took a gamble and it was just too late.
We don't want to overcook the tyres.
Yeah, contact.
So Alpine's crew are ready to act. But hang on, that rear right, it's not tight enough.
Now what happened there, Karun?
Alex Albon had come in to stop. Oh, but it's slow. That's so unfortunate for the team.
Now this is what happened.
When you set a strategy,
Let's
for
have a look
car,
at the action. It's
a
all
pit
at the
window
final
will be
corner.
created, during which it is recommended to call for
The
a pit
wheels
stop.
just lock up
The
there.
race engineer
but
will
that's
also
just the
alert
risk
you
you
to
take.
the optimal
The
pit
later
lap for
you
your
leave it.
strategy. Throughout race weekend sessions, including the race itself, you'll want to be using pit stops to manage and adjust a car's setup, as well as deal with any areas of wear or damage. Just remember it's up to you when to pit a car. The optimal window is just a guide. As a tyre is used, the tread will gradually wear away. This wear rate is impacted by several factors, including the tyre compound and the driver's pace command. An overheating tyre will also wear faster. This is the optimal pit lap for this race. In a full race, the tyres on a car will need changing at least once, which means at least one pit stop per race. Pit stops take up valuable seconds, so careful management of tyre wear and pit stop scheduling is vitally important. Here you can see all the tyre compounds available this weekend. When making any changes, just be sure you're considering both the condition and the compound of the selected tyre. If needed, you can also use a pit stop to replace the front wing. During the race, achieving a quick pit stop time is vital if your driver is to maintain their position on the track. Time things well, and they might even gain a place or two. However, mistakes can happen, resulting in some stops taking longer than anticipated.
And Lando, can I have an update, please?
Tyres are going.
Okay, understood.
Now it looks like, yes it is, Alex Albon's involved in that.
Dangerous.
The team glued to the monitors and watching their hopes crumble away. Over to you, Karun.
The crew waiting for defreeze there. But we see the issue occur here.
We don't want to overcook the tyres.
Confirm.
Okay, you'll take the checkered flag.
And there's the checkered flag. Max Verstappen is our winner.
What an achievement! Sometimes you take the incredible skill of these drivers for granted, but not today.
Okay, that is the checkered flag.
That's a really miserable day for Oscar Piastri.
It's been a very frustrating day for them, and they leave without any point. That's not the sort of performance we'd expect to see, really.
Well, Max Verstappen can add yet another podium to his already impressive record.
That gives them their first win of the season, and it was really well deserved.
And we've certainly kicked things off in style here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now, Karun, with that result in mind, what would they be feeling like down at McLaren?
Well, it was a bit of a mixed bag here. Some things went their way, but others didn't. I think their main target now will be finding some consistency for sure.
And that is about that for this weekend's action here in Bahrain.
The teams now look ahead to the next round, where they'll duel it out in the sand dunes of Saudi Arabia.